What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video, bringing you my review for episode 1 of Dragon Ball Daima. I'm sure most of you by now have seen the first episode. If you haven't already, it's out on Crunchyroll right now. I believe every single week at this time. So, well, at the time where I just watched it, just fresh now, 1 p.m. Eastern, they should be up on Crunchyroll. Only in sub right now. I believe the dub comes out next month, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first 3 episodes of dub are actually premiering in theaters, so they're probably going to show them back to back to back. Consecutively like a movie, which would be pretty cool, and I might actually have to tap in and do that, even though by that time I'll have already seen the first 3 episodes in sub, but whatever. I'm also doing watch parties live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/LotusAsakura. Link is always in the description down below, so every single week we'll be watching the episode together, hanging out in the chat, talking about it, whatever. I'm also recording these reviews live on my Twitch as well, so if you want to come through, hang out, and watch the episode together, tap in, links in the description. But with that being said, Dragon Ball Daima, which was the final project that Akira Toriyama actually had his hands on and worked on before his unfortunate passing, and may he rest in peace. So where does this story, or when does this story even take place? Well, Dragon Ball Daima, for those of you who weren't aware, didn't put it together after watching the episode, takes place after the Buu Saga, but before Battle of Gods. So Dragon Ball Daima actually takes place before Super. I wouldn't necessarily call it a prequel, but maybe more like a bridge. I don't know what you want to call it, doesn't exactly matter, but that's the timeline of this, which is interesting because there's a couple of things that happen in this, and things that I'll acknowledge throughout this video that it's Dragon Ball, you know how it goes. It's gonna be some retcons and stuff, okay, unless they say some things or change something later down the line. But I think the first thing I want to say is that the episode looked incredible, bro. The art and animation for Daima, top notch. It makes me want it low-key makes me want a remake for original Dragon Ball Z in this style, because this episode actually starts off with not a flashback, but you have these 2 characters named King Goma and Degasu. And Degasu, I forgot to mention this. We'll say this first before I go any further. This review will have spoilers. So this is your spoiler alert. This is your spoiler warning. This will not be a spoiler-free review. Very important that I say that before I proceed with anything that I was going to continue saying, because I'm going to be mentioning things that happen throughout the episode. So if you want to avoid spoilers, now is your chance. I'm stalling just a little bit. All right, cool. We good? You're still here. You're still watching. You're still listening. You're okay with that? All right, cool. So that being said, it starts off, we're in the Demon Realm. We have King Goma and his assistant, servant, ally, Degasu, who's a Kai that's actually the brother of Supreme Kai. Now, they said brother, and there's another character that shows up named Dr. Arinsu, who is his sister, which means he's the Supreme Kai's sister. I don't know if by saying that brother and sister just mean they're of the same race, so they calling each other that, or if they're actual, like, you know what I'm saying, like blood, brothers, sisters. News to me. But the episode starts off with them like watching these monitors and seeing, our heroes, the Z Warriors, Goku and the gang, going throughout the Buu Saga and, fighting Kid Buu, Super Buu, Majin Buu, the death of Babidi, Dabura, and remember, Demon Realm. The board was the king around there. So when he got turned into a giant cookie and eaten, they freaked out. And it was kind of funny, their reaction that they had to it. But what I will say, criticism I do have, is that they spent a lot of time doing that. And I didn't really mind it because it was such eye candy. But this episode was 32 minutes and 5 seconds, I want to say, which is longer than like your typical anime episode, because usually episodes are like 23 to 24 minutes and you get to that 30-minute mark by the commercial breaks that normally happen. But when you're streaming it, it's like 23, 24 minutes, right? This didn't have an opening in this first episode. Maybe episode 2 will have the opening. That happens a lot in anime. I'm wondering if every single episode is going to have this runtime, or if it was just for the first episode, because they spent I had a timer going, it's because I'm doing this in the chat so people can like sync up and stuff on Twitch, whatever. And I want to say it was about 12 or 13 minutes of them being like in this room, like watching these monitors. So it's like 12 or 13 minutes of basically recap for the audience, but them like getting up to speed on what happened during the Buu Saga. And it, like I said, it looked really cool. Like Majin Vegeta in particular looked sick, and then Goku, like, it was fire. It was really fun. Like I said, I enjoyed watching it, but I know that episode 2 is where we really go get into the meat and potatoes, because it wasn't until the very end of this episode that Goku and the gang got turned into kids, and like we didn't even see them really as kids. So the next episode is where things is really gonna kick off. But I will say, King Goma seems a little bit of a goober. He's definitely gonna be some comic relief around here. And for King of the Demon Realm, you don't really seem very kingly, and he's only king by default now because Dabura got eaten, but it is what it is. I don't understand why Degasu and his sister Dr. Arinsu are like in the Demon Realm, because they're Kais, right? So they low-key on like some Zamasu tip. I don't really know like how they ended up there, or what like their motives are, or anything like that. We didn't really get into that. I'm sure it'll come up at some point. I'm wondering if, surely there will be some sort of interaction where they see Supreme Kai, like Universe 7 Supreme Kai, and they speak. I hope that happens in episode 2 because I want to see it. And speaking of Supreme Kai, one of the first things I want to mention in terms of like retcons or things that don't really add up, Supreme Kai and Kibito are separated here. And, you know, in our regular timeline, they do end up unfused. But in Daima, they said that they ended up unfused by having Majin Buu inhale them and using the gases that are inside of him to unfuse him the same way Vegito did. Because remember, he was like, oh, you know, when you and Vegeta turned into Vegito, you guys got absorbed, and then like the special gas inside of Buu like unfused it. Well, we just did the same thing and then had Majin Buu spit us back out. I don't know about y'all, but that's not how I remember Supreme Kai and Kibito getting unfused in our timeline. I don't remember for sure off the top of my head, but I think they used the Dragon Balls to unfuse. I don't think it was Majin Buu. So a little bit of a retcon. I assumed that Daima was supposed to be canon. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I assume that it is, especially since this was penned by Toriyama himself. So, but you know, like it wouldn't be the first, nor will it be the last retcon in Dragon Ball. So who knows? But regardless, after we spend all this time with King Goma and Degisu, like watching these monitors and talking to each other, and Degisu being like, well, with Dabura gone, you're the new king of the demon realm. They come to this realization that, you know, that's cool and all, that's good. Hooray, all hail Supreme King Goma, ruler of the demon realm. If Goku and Vegeta and all them decide at any point to enter the demon realm, it's curtains for you. So what are we gonna do about that? And the conclusion that they come to is we should use their Dragon Balls and make some wishes to turn the tides in our favor and prevent that from ever even happening. But not only do we find out that they have plans to go to Earth and use the Dragon Balls and everything like that, there's an Namekian that dwells within the demon realm by the name of Neva. He's very, very, very old, like even older than Kami was in Dragon Ball Z. And he's really funky for some reason as well. He don't really bathe. I don't know what's up with that, but he's some old senile geezer. And Dragon Balls exist in the demon realm, and he created these robots that protect them that are very, very powerful, that prevents King Goma from wanting to go and actually try to collect those. And it says like, we'll go to Earth, because the Earth Dragon Balls, they get 3 wishes and everything, and the demon realm Dragon Balls, you only get 1, and they're being protected by these guards. He's like, we just gonna go to Earth. We're gonna go to Earth. And Namekian being in the demon realm kind of broke my ankles. I don't know about y'all. And we find out a little bit later that apparently that's where the Namekians originally rule from, because when they do all end up going to Earth, they meet Dende, and he's like, hey, I'm kind of all over the place in my reviews. I'm winging it. This is off the top. Maybe in the future I'll have a little bit more structure and take some notes. I'm just kind of, I'm so excited. I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm not really going in chronological order. My fault. Like I said, maybe we'll be a little bit more organized, but I'm just kind of like hype right now. You feel me? So my fault, forgive me. But when they do eventually go to Earth, Neva talks to Den, and he's like, yeah, you're like, you see them ears? You're originally from the demon realm. I guess pointy ears are supposed to be a tell that you're originally from the demon realm. So maybe Kais are also originally from the demon realm, because they have similar ears to like Deborah and the Namekians and stuff. I don't really know. If you remember in the original Dragon Ball, Piccolo wasn't a Namekian. He was just known as a demon. He was Demon King Piccolo. Like maybe he was actually a ruler of the demon realm. And then in Dragon Ball Z, we find out, oh, actually, he hails from a planet called Namek. But it's interesting because the demon realm is not part of Universe 7. You guys know how we have the multiverse now in Dragon Ball. The demon realm was its own thing entirely, and they had to travel to Universe 7 and go to Earth from the demon realm, which is something that most people don't really do. From the demon realm, they're not really allowed to go to the outside world, but King Goma, Degisu, Neva, they do that anyway. And apparently, unbeknownst to them, Dr. Rensu does it as well. What she's plotting, what she's planning, I don't know. But did I mention she's kind of, you feel me? Anyway, my fault. So anyway, upon Neva, King Goma, and Degisu's arrival on Earth, they land on Kami's lookout. And like I said, they talk to Dende and Popo. When they get there on Earth, the Dragon Balls are still stones. They had just been recently used. Neva is broken. He stands at the edge of the lookout. Eyes start glowing. Aura start, you know what I'm saying, doing that thing he do. And he locates all the Dragon Balls all over the Earth with some special geezer ability that he has from being thousands of years old. I don't know. So first he's like, he's scanning us. He's like, looks like the Dragon Balls were used recently. They're still stones. This is gonna be tough. And then like 5 seconds later, he's like, got him. And then like these blue sparks start flying everywhere. Light beams and auras going all over the Earth. Well, 7 of them. And he gathers up all 7 Dragon Balls from all over the Earth and then zoop, brings them to the lookout. And they're stones, like he said. And then I'm like, this ain't going where I think it's about to go. And then either Goma or Degusu, they were like, hey, Neva, like you can restore their power, right? And then there's like, even if you restore their power, I'm not gonna tell you what the password is. And then Degusu's like, oh, don't worry about that. I got that written down here in my notes. We already know, you know what I'm saying? And Neva's just like, starts water whipping with the wrist. Boop, Dragon Ball's restored. Like, hello? Like, you could just do that? And it's broken. Dende got to step his game up, bro. Cause like, what? Like, what? This dude just located all the Dragon Balls in seconds and then just and restored their power. And then they chopped Dende, his chest knocked his ass out. And then Popo go talk about some, oh, you can't. And they're like, is there a problem with that? Popo looked up and said, nah, you want some juice? I'm so dead ass. He looked up at them and said, would you like some juice? Be so serious. Be so for real. Be so for real. Like, he folded immediately. Didn't swing, didn't challenge them, nothing. You know what? I just think he don't like Dende as much as Kami. If that had been Kami, got knocked out like that, I feel like he'd have had a little bit more to say or do. He wouldn't have offered them no juice. Juice? Anyway, we get like 20 plus minutes into the episode before we even see Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, and everybody like that. And they're actually out celebrating Trunks' 9th birthday. And I'm wondering if that was by any means like foreshadowing. And again, we already know. It's been all over the promo material. We've seen it already. We already know the plot of Daima is that Goku and the gang get turned into kids. They're celebrating Trunks' 9th birthday party. And I wonder if that's foreshadowing for the fact that the gang is about to get turned into kids. And they'd be probably, well, when you're in the first grade, you're like 7, maybe 8 years old, but also I think in Japan, right? They count the first year in the womb as you being 1 year old. So you're 1 year old when you're born. So I guess you could be like 8 or 9. 9 still seems a little deep. They get turned into first graders essentially, but whatever. There may or may not be any correlation there. I could be looking too deep into that. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we don't even see Goku and everybody until like 20 plus minutes into the episode. So that, again, that's why I'm saying episode 2, we already know they're going to get into the real meat and potatoes. They're turned into kids now. We're going to see the big reveal. There's also, what's his name? You guys remember the little blue boy, Glorio, who we found out about in some of the promo material, whatever? He was lurking in the shadows of King Goma's room, office, whatever, while I was speaking. And episode 2 was actually named Glorio. So we're going to see him pop up. I don't know what role he's going to play. They might have briefly mentioned it in like that article I read at one point. I don't really remember, but that should be interesting as well. He looks like he could be, well, I don't know. He actually, you know who he looks like? He looks like Mira a little bit. I wonder if there's any relation or correlation there. I know Toa and Mira aren't like, they're heroes characters. I don't think they really have anything to do with this or show up, but who knows? I don't really know where this is gonna go. Yeah, they're all having a party. They having a good time. Of course, Goku is stuffing his face. So is Vegeta. Everybody's getting their grub on. And then, unbeknownst to them, the Dragon Balls have been collected, restored to full power, and they got turned into first graders. And that's basically how the episode ends. Oh, and there was a really cool scene with Goku and Vegeta fighting each other because they were training after they ate. Beautifully animated. This whole series is going to be eye candy. If nothing else, this whole series is going to be Dragon Ball eye candy. And I'm looking forward to it because this was like movie level quality. This was Dragon Ball movie level quality for this episode. So we getting this on a week-to-week basis consistently. Oh, I can't wait. All in all, though, I thought the episode was fun. I do feel like the intro, and it's the first episode that they try to set some things up. I think they could have spent a little less time doing all the Buu Saga recap, but that's just me. Like I said, because it was beautifully animated and drawn, I was cool with it. I'm interested in some of these characters. Dr. Edensu, how you doing? But jokes aside, genuinely interested in her because she's doing something sneaky in the shadows. I don't really know what she got planned, what she was doing when she visited Earth, because she's not really with the crew with Degusu, Goma, and Neva. She kind of doing her own thing, and she's a doctor, she's a scientist, a researcher, whatever. So type of research she over there conducting, you feel me? Who knows? Maybe we find out in episode 2 a little bit. I don't know when she's gonna pop back up, but I'm looking forward to it. That's pretty much it. It was fun. A little bit of jokey humor here and there. Kind of gave me some old school Dragon Ball vibes. Obviously, they're trying to nostalgia bait a tiny little bit with Goku being turned back into a kid again. Hey, man, it worked on me in Dragon Ball GT when they turned Goku into a kid. It's probably going to work again in Daima as well. But Dragon Ball fans, we up. We all the way up. We eating real good. Between Sparking Zero and Dragon Ball Daima and the Dragon Ball Super manga, we are eating so good, bro. I'm stuffed. Actually, I'm very hungry right now because it's almost 2 p.m. and I haven't eaten yet. But the grind don't stop. It's work to be done. I'm getting this video up for y'all so you can see my thoughts, opinions, reactions. And like I said, with episode 2, I might actually, just jot down a couple bullet points or so as I'm watching, just to have my train of thought just a little bit more in order. Or if you just like this all over the place, me winging it freestyle style, then that's cool too. But let me know what you thought about episode 1 in the comments down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content like when I'm bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.